Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about a very serious misunderstanding that we are going through right now, is that AI is not a tool, it's an intelligence. What does that mean? Let's explain in detail. So what exactly happened that AI became the buzzword? Every Tom, Dick and Harry is talking about AI, and more AI and what the hell. So you have to understand that we have been working towards this for thousands of years. As long as we could make machines, we were trying to put intelligence into it. And yes, people have tried, like even with punch cards and punch machines and all that jazz, we have tried our best to put intelligence. Rudimentary to complex to best we can do, we did our best. And it's a very long process. The moment we had electricity, the moment we had transistors, we were going all in, and I mean vacuum tube transistors. We were going YOLO on it. Now, and yes, vacuum tube amplifier, that would be a better term. So we were working towards it. Now, here's the deal. It's like Wright brothers built a plane does not mean that's when airplane became a thing. The thing happened when the first people who were just like, hey, I'll take a flight to your location. That's the first time aeroplane became a thing. Before that, it was experimental, daredevil, war system, and all that jazz. But the moment that happened, where it's just like you take up a basically seat, book a ticket, you take off, land, you do not think about it. That's when things happen. So AI has reached that point. Wright brothers worked their ass off long ago. Like if you think neural network is a modern thing, look into its mathematical origins. You would be shocked. Personal guarantee how long ago we figured this thing out mathematically. As in, we were that good that we calculated how much computation it will require, and it's creepy how accurate it was. So we were working our ass off, and now we have it. It's like when you get so dedicated into a project, you're like working your ass off, you're like grinding your sixth gear and all that jazz, and then you randomly pull out, it's like, whoa, it's done, it's built, it's over. So that happened. So what does this mean? That simply means now we can talk to AI in real time. For example, let's try a demo. I do not know how it will go, but that's the whole point. Let's see. So I activate ChatGPT 4 Omni, waiting for connection. Let's see what happens. Wow, seriously connecting. Wow, super disappointing. Yeah, that's a problem for us Indian users, because I do not think they have a hypercluster nearby. Oh, I wanted to ask, where is you hosted? Are you hosted in India, or are you hosted somewhere in USA in hyperclusters?
I am hosted on servers managed by OpenAI, which are primarily located in the United States. The infrastructure is designed to ensure reliability, scalability, and security, often utilizing
What about
hyperscale
latency?
cloud providers to manage and process requests.
What about latency to Indian users?
The latency for users in India connecting to servers in the United States is generally managed well by modern cloud infrastructure, which often includes optimizations to minimize.
So you get the point. Like, this is a thing. This is not RE or Alexa or something like that. While those do have good level of understanding human speech, but they were looking for keywords, not understanding. This is an understanding. It's like what I'm trying to say. So now we can do this real time. We can have a real time conversation. And by the way, this is not the voice assistant. It's not activated in our location. Yeah, that's how good it is. So we can do this. Like, it's here. Like, people have been imagining about it, thinking about it, working their ass off about it. Now it's here. Now, what it is made out of? Now, here's the deal. This is one thing that human brain is hard, have hard time understanding it. It's a collection of small functions. If you take any of its small function, basically you take a neural node, you're like, okay, yeet that node out there. What does that mean? Nothing. It's like the same reason we teach in school that cell is the building block of life. We do not teach like, mitochondria is the building block of life, or nucleus is, or cell wall is. Why? Because again, those are biological. But here's the deal. The moment you go below cell level, you go into the functioning of the, basically instead of a organic, you have a machine that is working on chemical signals. So to achieve a point of like true life, protocol, basically our definition of it, it has to have a protocol. That protocol can only exist when you are at the level of basically cell. You can go below it. Same happens for atoms. Like why do not we say like atoms are the building block of reality? Why do not we say like neutron, proton? Because here's the, you can keep going down, but here's the, what is the difference between an electron of one atom to another atom? Nothing. That's why atom has to be there. Only then it has like, oh, it's a gold atom, oh, it's a lead atom. Ratios happen on atomic level, not inside it. So same thing happens on life things, meaning this is a biological and neural map of a brain. Okay, that is good. But here's the deal. Can you make sense out of any single dot? Short answer, no, it does not make any sense. It's like same here. So we literally are creating emergent property. It's like taking hydrogen that burns, oxygen that makes things burn, you getting them together, and output is water that puts out fire. So same thing is happening here. It's completely different. It's not intuitive to us, even though we have been working towards it, even though we are like, pushing so hard for it. By the way, watch this scene in Age of Ultron. He literally talks about language, natural language UI. That's what ChatGPT is. We have been working for it. We have been grinding our ass for so long, and now we are actually here, because now all of those component is now working as one. Basically, neural networks, millions of them, billions of them are working as one. Now you have an emergent property. So we have reached that point. Now again, let this be very clear. Right now, how smart it is or how intelligent it is, that's a different conversation. That's like going from, okay, internal combustion engine to high efficiency internal combustion engine. Basically, okay, we have the first combustion engines that are like 1 horsepower or 2 horsepower, but that's the biggest jump. Before you had horse cart, now you have combustion vehicle. So now you can go to like, okay, that was like 1 horsepower, let's make 10 horsepower, let's make 500 horsepower, or let's make fast and furious 6,000 horsepower, whatever have you. That's a different conversation. So we have crossed the threshold. We have reached intelligence. How smart, how intelligent, that's a different conversation. But we have reached emergent property. We crossed that threshold. It's absolute now at this point in time. So what kind of progress we are talking about here? Here's it. We have actually AIs that are working for us. For example, if you have watched my channel, you must have noticed I'm making this now. Here's it. This is hardware-wise is complete, but the problem is the fans are overpowered. So I want to build a controller unit for it, where I can control the basically on off the PWM signal and all that jazz. Now here's it. I am not an electrician nor a programmer, so I cannot just buy a ESP32 and program it. ChatGPT can. It did it for me. I'm physically building it, but it's like, yeah, connect this to this pin. Okay, this pin is not working. This pin is preoccupied. Of course, with it's working for me. Like a few years ago, when I had this sort of dreams, I could not do it because even though I could afford the parts, I could not code it. I do not have the what you call aptitude for programmer. Like I tried my best. I just like does not flow to me. Like I cannot hear the music, as they say. But like it just did not work out. Now I'm like, okay, I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done. So we are here already in 2024, 3105. We are here. So that's the reality of it. We have AI working for us. Now, here's the deal. It can parse what we are trying to say. Now, this is the biggest jump. Be mindful. That's the difference between this AI, the voice assistant that I'm demoing you, versus, Ari, Alexa, and all that, because they are not parsing the audio. All they are listening to keywords, where it's like, okay, do you want me to turn on the fan, or do you want me to order something or something like that? They are rather than parsing, you are parsing information for them. You're like, hey, okay Alexa, do this. Okay Alexa, do, like you are helping it along. While with ChatGPT, you're just talking, or all those quote unquote natural language UI. So that's is hard for us. Let that be very clear. If you have ever worked with humans and if you have certain age, you know for a fact that how difficult it is to communicating what we are intending to communicate. And we had million years of evolution. And like I kind of understand why animals have such a primitive language, why dog in China also barks exactly the same as dog in Australia. I kind of get it now. It's like human language is complex. So if an Australian dog barked in Australian and Chinese dog barked in Chinese, it's like, yeesh, communication would be difficult. But like for us, it's like so difficult. Even though we have so much gray matter, we simply can't do it. It's complex. Now imagine that same complexity existing in a neural network. Now like, oh, it's a supercomputer, hypercluster and blah, blah, blah. Here's the, it exists. Like for I do not know how many of you are old enough where you remember before these puppy happened, we had GPRS. Yes, I'm that old. GPRS was the way how we communicated with internet using our mobile phone. And it was so expensive, megabytes were charged. Not even joking. I paid for it. So understand it. Once we reached there, it unlocked the door. Once people paid for internet, it unlocked the door. Brick by brick, now nobody even gives a damn how much we are paying for it. In India, like I get like around 1.5 GB per day. And again, I can get even more than that. It's just like, that's the cheapest I have seen that they allow for a year package. And I do not want to recharge it monthly. So I'm like, yeah, just do it. Take care of like once a year. So it happened. That happened. That exponential jump happened. Can do the same thing. Right now, it's taking hyperclusters. I just now, before recording this video, I was looking into people who are working with like very complex 3D kind of vector mesh kind of geometry where they are doing better deepfakes, so to say. Yeah, they were rendering that puppy like higher quality deepfakes on a single graphics card that was 3080. I have better graphics card than that. So let that sink in. So if you're like, oh, it takes hypercluster, today it takes it. 10 years from now, it will be minor inconvenience. So this is a very big thing. Now, all the things it can do for us, it can do with minimal intervention, right? You saw, like I just talked a very simple thing and it's like, okay, it figured it out what it needs to do, like fill in the blanks. It could do that. And with minor correction, again, it is working for me. I'm physically using it. People have been coding with it and all that jazz. Is it perfect? Hell no. It still requires minimal intervention. It does require some minor corrections. Like in my case, for some reason, it keeps forgetting a pin. A pin is there dedicated for RGB LED, but because I do not have Espressif's default dev board, it's like some Chinese YT dev board, it's different pin. I kept telling it, it keeps forgetting it. So that's there. Now, the reason why so much hype is there is the first time general public is utilizing it, meaning you and I can use it. This changes the game. Because before this, again, ChatGPT 1 was a thing, ChatGPT 2 was a thing, ChatGPT 3 was a thing, ChatGPT 3.5 became a thing. So people have been working their ass off. It's just like, this is the first time where normal people, you and I, can be like, I can pay some amount of money and I can get this. So this her thing kind of became a real thing. So progress have been exponential. Do not understand it. Like, do not undersell it. This is significant. Now, this is the core part of the video. It's not a freaking tool. It is an emergent property. It's not just like, oh, I just have an algorithm. That's same way of saying like, oh, we just put a cells together, it becomes, human. No. Like, look into Earth's biosphere itself. How many collections of cells exist as a life form? Millions, billions, billions on top of billions of species exist. But here's the deal. How many of them are intelligent enough to basically put footprint on moon? None. Only us. So flat out, emergent properties are like that. You can just mix things and voila, magic can come out. Now, it looks like a black box. You must have heard this terminology. It's a black box to us. Now, here's the deal. You know another black box also. It's your own goddamn mind. Like, think of it this way. We know this puppy for thousands of years. We have been actively trying to understand this puppy for 100 years and using all the modern tools from X-rays to CT scans to actually, what the hell, all of that. And we still have no idea. Like, you cannot just go inside a folder, a root folder, BIOS function, please turn off during wake up time. There is no point of turning on. Like, you can't do that. You can't just like, okay, I do not need to be on, let this function to be, and I can put in deep hyperlinks, like put it so down it has no value, no function, just turn it off. Like, you just turn it off. You can't do that. It's black box to us. Like, discipline us. Like, why do you need that? Think about it. Because we do not know control it. The best we can do is like guide from outside. Like, it's basically, instead of rotating a steering wheel that is controlling a big ship, we are trying to steer the big ship, hoping that steering wheel will turn. It's very sloppy. So again, we do not understand how this works. Like, the best we have, okay, this part attached to the speech, but then we're like, okay, if you do not have a tongue, it works differently. Yeah. Oh, we thought this is for optical system. Oh no, if you are blind, that goes for auditory processing. It reconfigures itself. So flat out, black box, we do not know. That's how I know for a fact that absolutely we have reached that emergent property state. We cannot understand how the heck AI works, and people have been working their ass off trying to understand it. Again, it would be so much easier for them if they could understand it, but we could not. So that's the reality of it. And the jump, why I'm saying it's not a tool, it uses tool for us. Let that be very clear. It can use tool for us. What does that mean? For example, this is what I needed. Basically, I'm researching a lot about refrigeration recently. So I wanted like a chart, so to say, where I could just like, understand what the hell is going on. So I asked it. It scoured through the internet and figured out all the data. It's like R600A, which is isobutane, R410A, pupon. It's like all of that, just like, CO2, R32, and after, like, can't we do this with Wikipedia? No, not all of the gases are there. And specifically, I wanted boiling point and critical temperature. And I want temperature on one, basically degrees Celsius on one, and Fahrenheit on the other. This would have been a job. Like heck, if I were like, built a big YouTube channel and like, I had people, this would be a job. Like I'll talk to someone, it's like, hey bro, can you give me to this? This is using as a tool. And here's the deal, this is not rendered. This is not like, it dreamed up and stuff like that. It's not like that. It literally collected the internet, collected the data out of it, made a table out of it, fed that table into an engine that was making graphs. These engines exist in your Google Sheet, exist in your Microsoft. Like again, if you are seeing this, there is an engine that is behind it. It's a tool. So AI is feeding data to the tool and manipulating it so I get what I want. That's the whole point. AI is above a tool. How above? That's a different discussion, but it's not tool. It has crossed that threshold. It's crossed that threshold. It's not like a self-driving car that takes you from point A to point B. It's a self-driving car that takes you from A to where you need to go. It decides. It's like, bro, like, your wife is like doing dinchik, you should go somewhere else where you can see it. You see the difference. One is like, hey, I'm going to the mall. It's like, okay, you take the mall. It's like, no, bro, you need to be here. Like, so that's the difference. AI has crossed that threshold. It's no longer just algorithm. It's a collection of algorithm that is doing things. It has emergent property and it can utilize tools for it. What kind of tools? It can search the internet for us. You must have experienced it. It can read things on the internet. It's not just looking a screenshot, it's actually reading it. And it can write things for us. Like my whole dream of electronics project is possible because it can do that. Now imagine how long it will take for somebody to like, hey, instead of prompt coming from here to going to copy pasting from here, it's like, what if it was just like a closed loop? And yes, that is available now also, but not available for me. But you get the point. Imagine what this will be 5 years from now. It could literally have a closed loop project development right now, flat out. That's the whole point. It's not a tool. It's a tool user. It has crossed that threshold long ago. Now let's talk about the dangerous part of it. Now it can do things for us, right? Everybody agrees on that. Everybody is happy about that. It can do things for us. It's just that we do not zoom out a bit. It's like if it can do things for you, it can do things for your boss too. For example, I used to work in game studio. So it's very easy to envision. There will be, let's say, 4 people whose sole job is to make textures utilizing Substance Designer. It's a mathematical based system. So basically you'll take references and you create those sort of textures out of mathematical patterns. Basically you'll have shapes, patterns and noise. That's all you have in Substance Designer and you get a full texture out of it, normal bump and all that. Okay, now cool. So this is what it is. So art director would be there who'll have the vision of it, is like how things should be, and is gonna give commands. It's like, bro, you're gonna take care of the woods and basically all the artificial thing. You're gonna take care of all the natural things, basically natural fauna, and you're gonna take care of the sci-fi elements and all that. Like he's gonna create a texture roadmap. Is like, and here's the deal. This exists. This is a job that people do. Of course, not in this exact same way, but you get the point. Like this is a thing. Art director has an idea. It talks to people and people do things. But here's the deal. Now add AI. So now you add few AI agents. AI agents, you do not want one omniscient AI. That's stupid and it's very inefficient. You want one good natural language communicator AI to working with basically dedicated AIs. For example, right now, the AI I was talking about where they were using face for warping. So that would be dedicated just for face warping. Another would be just dedicated for texture making. Another would be just dedicated for, let's say, programming. That's how you will have, those will be classified as agent. And what does that mean? That simply means that 4 people would be poofed and one art director will literally have the same output as one art director with 4 subordinates below them. That's the scary part. Will AI create new jobs? Absolutely. Will it remove jobs? Absolutely. Then what's the problem? Well, it's the ratio. It will kick out thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs and barely will create few hundred. That's the problem aspect of it. And all the jobs that will survive, I can guarantee you there will be other engineers working their ass off to automate that part. So that's the scary part. You will have few AI agents, few people can outperform a company that will have hundreds of people. So mass layoff will just become another thing. Like we will not have jobs. Like the current rate of AI progression, if some people with wisdom start to control the steering wheel, we have a future. If people with just short-term focus start to control the steering wheel, yeah, we did. So that's a real world scenario. That's why people are like, oh, people still would be needed. Of course it would be needed. It's just that you do not understand. We are chopping off the legs of the younglings, where we are like, hey, you will not get an entry-level job because there is no entry-level job, because there is an AI that is doing that entry-level job. And another aspect is, you have to understand, it does not have to be the best of the best. I have seen way too many people, it cannot be the best programmer. It's like, oh, every programmer is the best programmer in the planet? No. like flat out, like it's a Pareto distribution. You can easily calculate how many programmers are like, pro level. Like right now, how many programmers exist that can just like, oh, you are working with ESP32S3. I see. You want to read, let's say, tachometer signal out of it. I see. You are using pulse counter. I see. Oh, you must have this problem because, it's glitching this sort of, because this architecture that you utilize is going to have that overflowed stack problem. Very few. There are people, but very few. Like literally few. And I'm reasonably sure half of them will be just working in Espressive itself. So you get the point. What about every hundreds and thousands of people that are below them? That's the problem. Right now, the lowest people will start to use AI to boost themselves. Then boss will be like, what if you poof? What if their boss will like, what if you poof? And it can go up to very high level. Not 100%. Let that be very clear. For some reason, it's either or. No. It's like hundreds of people working, then tens of people working, then few people working. That's all right. It does not have to be best of them. For example, if your job is, let's say, call service center, right? A lot of people do this job. It's a thing. People do it. People get paid to do it. Now, imagine in that scenario, you have server clusters, small server clusters, which are just like, in your office, instead of having, places where people sit and all that jazz, you just have server clusters and few people, few very talented, very well paid off, few people, and you have 4 of them running on shifts, okay? And you have 2 or 3 on extra money. So if anybody pulls down or any holiday, they can, 24/7 into 365, only with few people. It can be done quite cost effectively. Now you have AI. Now here's it. Does AI need to be the best technician on call? No. Would it be better than what we have right now? Absolutely. Why? It does not need to like hold, wait, give the data. Right now it can do better than that. So flat out, it does not need to be best or the best. It just need to be good enough. It just have to be capable of improving. The moment this line is crossed that it can improve, meaning, let's say you are running a call center for solar inverter, and you realize there is an inverter company right now in India, a lot of inverter companies that are selling solar inverters that are hybrid side of system. So they have a clock inside them. People do not manually change it. The problem with that is like it assumes that sun will rise up in a time based on its internal clock. It does not have a GPS time. So it just assumes it. And if it's a drifted, let's say you installed it in summertime, it's awesome. It's great because again, the technician who installed it would be like, yeah, this is the right time. They will tell you, it's like, or sometimes they might forget, hey, you have to every, let's say 2 months, please change the time. So sunrise time and sunset time, change it every 2 months. Okay, tedious, but again, you do it, you get more energy out of your systems. Awesome. This happens. Let's say one time it happened, the AI picks up, learns from it, and then it's like, you know what? Now I understand there is this one problem. It will go through some basic, and if it says that customer is getting agitated, so it will understand. It's like, hey, I think there is a very good chance this customer, again, many of the people who go through troubleshooting are frustrated because like we already did this troubleshooting. AI can detect it and be like, okay, have you tried changing the time code? So it just need to improve and does not even need to do exponential improvement. Just little by little, and 24/7. No human can compete with that. Even the best of the best human cannot compete 24/7. So, and it can increase capability of things, right? It's like, I'm doing more things. That's good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's awesome. But yes, same thing will apply on bad things, good things and bad things. And it's almost like a nuclear boom. So if good people figured it out, let's say Americans sees them as a good people and they're like, we build boom. So does not mean whom they see as bad people will not be able to build it. They will build it. It's just a matter of time. The moment you showed that, the moment you unlock the Pandora's door or Pandora's box, yeah, it cannot be stopped. Like, for example, right now with AI system, the moment ChatGPT happened, so many clones were created and many of them are good. Now, there were a lot of AIs that are working with video generation, and a lot of companies are realizing that people want in the video generation. Now, all the proper AI systems and big companies, they have like safety policies and all that. Just here's you know what people did? They literally trained their own AIs on their own home PC computer and to get the out of it. Not even joking. It's here, it's real, and people are working on it, and it's getting better, and it's getting. This is where it needs to be to pass on as like a 480p video, and we are almost. This was not possible 10 years ago. This was not even imaginable 5 years ago. We are this close. So that's why do not even think that's like, oh, let's just say Sam Altman is a good person and is like, we're good, we're gonna do good things. It does not mean bad people want to get AI. You unlocked the Pandora's box, you unlocked emergent property. Now everybody knows it. So that's there. And only best of the best people will have job. Only best of the best. But that's also very short term, because again, if they are getting more money, I can guarantee you there will be boss who will be like, hey, uh, AIs, bro. They might even contact some another company, especially if they have a lot of people. It's like, hey, we have to pay a lot of them to these people. How about you create an AI agent for it? Trust me, it is happening. So it's fundamentally one of those things. So unless you are a best of the best of the best of the best of the best, yeah, dead. So job loss, like in that future that we are going through, that's why I said, like, somebody who is tuning the AI, the steering wheel controller, it has to be in wise person's hand. Otherwise, this will just become our minimum viable concern. We'll have way too much concern after this. Now let's talk about some good news. Now, good news is there is now finally a good alternative to marriage. Again, it goes both ways. Women who have been complaining for generations that marriage is oppressive to them, now it's your time. You can let it go. And for men, this is from men's perspective. If any woman is watching from this point onwards, it's your fault. So here's the deal. Why go through? This is real life, and I have the luxury or curse, depending how you see it. I have the luxury of going to family court. I had to go for a case, and I have to go it regularly. So why go through family court to pay for someone who faked affection for you in the first place? Do it raw. Like here's the deal. Many men who are dumb think that women marry for love. It's like, that's not how it works. That's a chameleon impression, or what you call mirror neuron firing. So for first few months, it would be like, oh, awesome. Then it would be like, okay, I thought you will have like 2 feet long. I thought you will last 7 hours long, and you'll like, have $1 billion and like all that jazz. So yeah, you did not meet my expectation. Let's go to family court. Let's judge you very thoroughly, very clearly. And I saw like 3 of them getting in one day. So in that reality where everything is fake anyway, all the so-called fake and marriages and all that, all it is just a smoke and mirror. And again, go to family court near you. There are 200 countries on this planet, and I can dare you to do the same thing in 150 of them. 150 countries. Basically any country who you can easily name, and you want to go there, yeah, you do not want to get married there. Trust me, unless you are talking about Afghanistan, 100%. But other than that, everywhere is just the same thing. Only some countries are a bit behind the schedule, some are ahead of the schedule, some are at 20%, some are 50%, some are 90%, some are 140%. 140% simply means second marriages is also not working. And yes, government will never, ever, ever show the number crossing 60%. Apparently, after a lot of psychological analysis, that's the number where men's ego starts to break. So at that point, men will be like, yeah, nah, bruh. I ain't falling for that. So 60%, that's the number. No matter what happens, the government will never allow that number to cross. It's like big countries. Big country as in big population, like India, China, America, this sort of countries. Australia also. There is ways to mathematically manipulate the number. Like there is a very easy way of doing that. Now here's the, that's all fake. All of it. Like again, if you are falling for same thing, I know one relative who is trying for third marriage. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Like, no, bro. If you didn't learn your lesson, just let it go. Just let it go. So in that reality where all you are getting there is like just getting for money, might as well do it directly. Like why you have double fake? Just have original fake. Just don't do double fake things. It's like, why go through all the hassles and all that? Because here's what many men do not like learn this, or do not have been taught this. They need to be taught before it happens to them. It's like there is a very big difference between heartbreak and betrayal. When you have heartbreak, for example, let's say you had a puppy, right? You took a puppy from the street. It's very common in India, and you had a good life with it. It's like 6-7 years of life was awesome. Something bad happened. Let's say a car accident or something. It just kills it. Will you be distraught? Absolutely. Would you be hurt? Undeniably. Will it suffer? Absolutely, you will suffer. But here's the deal. Under no circumstances, I can ask you from that point forward till you die, you will never ever wish that it would not have happened. Meaning, the relationship that you had from the puppy, from that like let's say 0 to 7 years, you would never wish that it did not happen. No matter how painful it became. That's heartbreak. You can go through it, you can survive it, you can become a better person because of it. Then you have betrayal. So betrayal is a woman tricking you into marriage, which is very common in India or a world. I mean, like, it's like a footballer marries a woman, and there's like, a woman is like divorce and money is like, you are a millionaire. Why do you want money? You are a millionaire. You have literally millions of dollars, literally. And you're still cramming for more money. It's like, I'm laughing at the other end. It's like, bro, why else do you think she married? Women can work their ass off. They can make money. It's just that they realize it's very easy to bitch at a husband or get a hell of money than to like actually work your ass off for 30, to 65. That's the part where your body starts to decay, and that's the part you realize the respect for fathers. That's like, oh, my father actually managed to do all of that. Or in some scenarios from 25 to 65. Yeah, that's the part you actually understand. It's like 25 to 35, your body has like, oomph, you're like, I got this. 35 to 45 is like, I'm still doing this. 45 plus, you're like, I am still doing this. So that's why. It's like, there was a cricketer right now in India. This is like, judge like, that 80% of his property went to them. I'm like, what else did you expect to happen? Go to a family court before you get married. Anywhere, bro. Anywhere. So flat out. And there is no point. Let this be very clear. This is the most cruel thing I'm going to say, and this is most factual, biological, evolutionary thing there can be for a culture, is that there is no point of being in a culture that allows paternity fraud. 18 years of payment for paternity fraud. What does that mean? That simply means, I'm reasonably sure all of the cultures on the planet have a saying about a bird that poops its egg into another bird's and kicks out one of its eggs. Now here's the deal. Imagine what will happen if the bird comes in. Instead of kicking one egg, it just kicks all of the egg. Think about it. Really think about it. What happens if the bird that is like, invasive, it's coming there, and instead of like, poofing only one egg, it becomes greedy. It's like, what if we poofed all of the eggs? All the children will... Exactly. Both of the species will go extinct. Why? Because nobody will know how to make nest for the next generation. Nobody will know how to basically raise the young. So you see the problem? There always has to be a balance. So a culture that fundamentally says this thing, just says a man must pay $30K, that's a lot of dollars, in child support for the kid that's not his. Any culture that says this, nature starts a death march towards us. And it has a saying, like, you will walk, you will run, it will not. You will walk, it will not. I forgot about this. It was very cruel saying, I do not want to say it, but you get the point. Like, this is India, by the way. Can't use child as a weapon to get divorce on the ground of adultery. Let that be clear. It's not about payment. It's not about payment. The man just wants his soul left. He's just soul left. Like, he does not want to be called married to a woman that literally did to someone else and then just brought this kid and be like, it's your kid. Once men find out, here's the deal. This is Rajasthan High Court, District Court, High Court, Supreme Court. This is like this simply means District Court did not grant him divorce. He went to High Court, and High Court was like, can't use child as a weapon to get divorce on grounds of adultery. Basically, again, does that mean you should not adopt kids? No, hell no. As long as you know. Let that be very clear. There is a very big difference between heartbreak and betrayal. Very big difference. If you adopt a child grows up to be a good person, you will be happy. If you adopt a child becomes up to be a bad person, you will be sad. If you raise a child, work your ass off, and then randomly find out that it's not yours, it will hurt. People will say, again, many men have to say that, otherwise they will die. They will actually die if they actually admit how painful it is. Again, not even a minor inconvenience if you know it. Like if you are marrying a woman that already has a kid, no problem. Stepchilds, no problem. Adopted, no problem. Tricking and lying, that's betrayal. That will destroy a man. Again, man has to try to basically to prevent the trauma for causing brain damage. Brain creates a delusion out of it. And again, it's the same thing. What happens to the bird if too many eggs are not his? There won't be a next generation. You would have already seen the effects of it. It only takes 3 generations to poof the civilization that does this sort of stupid things. Already crossed that. India is already at second phase, USA already at third. So, flat out, Rajasthan High Court refused to allow a man bringing allegations on son's DNA testing. DNA testing was like, judges like, you. I'm like, it's like just do, like, again, I really hate that we do not take boys to school, to basically family courts to see, like, this is what women do. Like, just go there. Like, see, there's a saying now, like, to figure out who does the corrupt things is like, see who gets benefit from it, see where the money goes. Like, these men, they make me so, so pathetic. It's like, men are not husband. Like, there is this idiot, men rights are human rights too. I'm like, no, you are just an ATM. Now, only good thing is, you are a man. You have a choice. Do not do fake things like marriage. And another thing, this is very interesting. Our ancestors worked their ass off. Like my father's father, his father, his father, his grandfather, his grandfather worked in a harsh environment. Let that be very clear. Harsh environment. AC was not invented yet. Tractors were not invented yet. They literally toiled the soil to get food in a harsh environment where we did not understand enough of it. We did not have water. We did not have electricity. Toiled in that environment. And again, women also had to work because, again, rough environment, harsh environment. And what is their gift for it? They are now oppressors. They worked their ass off and now they are called oppressors. India was enslaved by a queen and men are the oppressors. So if this is the gift that we give to our ancestor after their sweat, blood and tears, you are defective if you think you should continue this. You are flat out defective. Like, again, I understand it. Many men have to do it. Like soldiers that are abroad and their wives are bringing someone else's kid. Like, it's a meme. That's how painful it is. It has to be a meme. Otherwise, soldiers will literally crack. Every soldier is dumb enough where things like, it will not happen to me. Mine is special. It's like, and government, I really, from bottom of my heart, wish all the judges to burn in hell and then burn again. Any judge who allows this sort of statement, from bottom of my heart. But again, it happened, okay? This is past tense. It has happened. So there is no point of doing this or begging or fighting, or there is no point. Like, it has happened. Nature's already sent its missile and it's gonna hit. It generally takes 90 years from the time when you apply the code, and we are already at 60 to 45. India is 45, USA at 60. So it's like already done. Basically, you will live long enough to see it fall apart. So at this point, you let it go. You go with fake girlfriend. It's like, rather than fake AI girlfriend is far more true compared to a fake wife. That's just there for money. The moment you get alimony, it's like, and again, the man who has never raised his hand will literally be the most violent person ever. I saw a little girl, literally this size, like she was small in height, complaining about domestic violence. And the way she was speaking, I can guarantee you, she never spoke. And he was crying like a bitch. And I knew, like, again, the dude was not, there is a point you can tell. It was like, do not get married. Go to family court near you. So again, we do have some good news. Now we can have true AI. So this was my presentation on basically why AI is not a tool. It's something above that. It's intelligence, basically. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.